The Charlotte Hornets drop the fourth and final game of their four-game homestand and fall to 1-3 on this homestand before going out to Brooklyn. Ryan Hedrick and Jim Mojo Morrison from WGNC Radio in Gastonia. And Jim, we really saw two superstars battling it out tonight. Even though James Harden was 1 of 11 from downtown and Kemba Walker had 35 points, the Rockets prevailed in this one, 118-113.
That's right. The Rockets got it going in the fourth quarter. They trailed by 4 after 3. Started out the fourth quarter run on a 5-0 run to take the lead. Overall, 18-4 in the first half of the final quarter. And then it got a little interesting as the Hornets battled back, but they weren't able to come all the way back, and Houston gets out of here with a hard-fought win.
Head coach James Borrego told us after the game that the team battled. They just didn't have enough at the end.
I got to find a way to help the second unit better, though. That's on me. And I think Lamb, trying to move Lamb to that group, I think helps. But I got to do a better job trying to help that second unit offensively. That's on me.
So you hear the comments of Coach Borrego, obviously frustrated, and he told you repeatedly, Jim, that it's on him to find a second team that will mesh and score points.
Yeah, the big move right after the All-Star break was putting Jeremy Lamb in the second unit. He got 18 points tonight. The rest of the second unit, I think, had a combined 13 points. And it just showed when they were on the floor, Houston was able to make hay and get back in this ball game. I mean, the starting unit won this game if you look at the overall statistics, but it was the second unit that was the downfall of the Hornets tonight.
All right, Chris Paul spoke to reporters after the game. Of course, Paul and the Rockets now on a roll, having won 3 straight Golden State, Atlanta, and now here in Charlotte. Let's hear what Chris Paul had to say.
Kemba? What you mean? It's real hard. Yeah, that's why we be trapping him. And you know what I mean? Kemba, I don't think anybody in our league changes pace like Kemba. You know what I mean? And as low to the ground as he is, and the way he's shooting it right now, I don't know, Y'all, I hope y'all appreciate him here. You know what I mean? He just plays the game the right way, competes every night, and way too fast for me to keep up with him.
Right, so you heard Chris Paul tell us that we better appreciate Kemba Walker. Do we dare read anything into that?
Well, I don't want to read into it just yet, but there's a lot of players, being here at All-Star Weekend that had high praise for Kemba Walker and what he has contributed to this league. They respect him, and I think the fans here respect him too. It's just a matter of whether they'll be able to come to a financial agreement with Kemba Walker at the end of the year.
I don't know if the Hornets feared the beard tonight, but they certainly fell to the beard. James Harden again starting a new streak of 30 because it was snapped in Atlanta. Here's what James Harden had to say after the game.
Second quarter, our spirit just dropped for I don't know what reason it was, and we can't allow that to happen. They were gonna make a run. They made some shots, but it's part of basketball. Second half, we did a really good job defensively and just being more aggressive.
All right, so James Harden's simply an amazing player. It seems like he takes his game to the next level, and this guy scores at will. What did you take away from the Rockets' victory against the Hornets tonight, Jim?
Well, Kemba Walker played hard. He led all scorers with 35 points, but it wasn't enough down the stretch. It looked like he battled so hard tonight, didn't have what it took to make the shots with his legs at the end of the game, missed fire on a couple of threes. Nick Batum had a strong game. Again, had a couple of looks from the three-point line to try to tie the game in the closing minutes. Hesitated not once but twice on 2 different sequences. It just was one of those just not enough to get over the hump for the Hornets, and that seems to be the theme throughout the year.
I'm starting to question whether they have the talent to get over the hump with the remaining schedule. We were talking about that vicious remaining schedule the rest of the way out. Brooklyn, Portland, and Miami. Miami now is turning into a contender for that 8th and final playoff spot.
Yeah, they've got a very daunting task ahead of them. As you mentioned, Brooklyn Friday night, Portland here in an early game on Sunday, so you don't know how the team comes out in an early matinee start. It's a 1 p.m. start here at the Spectrum Center. Ryan, you look at this team. James Borrego told us they're just going to have to take them one at a time and hope that they get efforts like tonight, but they're able to finish the games.
I wonder if it was almost strategic for them not to do anything at the All-Star break, looking at this schedule. And I'm not going to play general manager here, but the fans were disgruntled, almost perplexed when they didn't make a deal at the All-Star break, and really the monies wouldn't allow them to make a deal. They are still so cash-strapped, Jim. What do you see for a win total? If you had to grab a total out of the air, it's 28 now. and they're sinking well above 500 now. If you had to pull a total out of the sky, what would you say?
Well, going back to an old radio segment, win-loss, win-loss, you look at this schedule, you look at the teams that they play at home where they normally do well. All of them are playoff caliber teams. 4 of them are from the West. They don't play well. They have that West Coast trip at the end of the year. I mean, this is going to be a tough stretch for the Hornets. 7 wins possibly the rest of the year unless they surprise us and start to finish games like tonight.
All right, so 35 wins. I don't know. I mean, 7 more wins. I don't know if I foresee 7 more wins. Certainly it's going to be tough in Brooklyn, but what concerns me and what has to concern all Hornets fans at this point is the bottom feeders in the East, like Miami, Orlando, Brooklyn, Detroit. They all seem to be getting stronger while the Hornets are getting weaker.
Well, you're mentioning bottom feeders. They don't have many bottom feeders on the remainder of the schedule. They've got Miami twice, a home and home, Washington, a home and home, Orlando's only here at the last game of the season one time. There's not a lot. Cleveland might be the only bottom feeder left on the schedule, and that's on the road, and they've already lost at Cleveland this year. This is a daunting task for this team. I say 35, Ryan, but, you know, as Herm Edwards once said, you play to win the games, and that's what they're going to have to do. They're just going to have to go out there and compete and hope that James Borrego finds a solution for the second unit to get some points and to get this team over the hump, you know, off the bench with some of these guys trying to get more productivity.
There's an analytical Twitter handle that predicts outcomes of politics and sports, and for the sake of this conversation, Jim, they predicted the Hornets at 35 wins and out of the playoffs, so I'm not sure what we can take from that. What did you take from the way Jeremy Lamb played with 18 points and 14 rebounds? Certainly was the only spark off the bench.
Well, one thing I promise you, I don't read analytics, so 35 was out of
You're a baseball guy,
that
though.
was out of the old mojo brain when I picked 35 just looking at the schedule. But Jeremy Lamb, you know, the move was made after the All-Star break to put him in the second unit to get some spark. That's what they did last year with Steve Clifford was the coach of the team. James Borrego making the move, putting Miles Bridges in the starting lineup. And Lamb has played well. It's the other guys. Tonight, Tony Parker only had 3 points. When Tony Parker is not clicking, neither is that second unit. But he's also 37 years of age, and Tony Parker is in one of those situations where you don't get the old Tony Parker every night.
Right, so the Hornets fall to the Rockets 118-113. They fall to 1-3 on this 4-game homestand. It's back on the road for one game, a cup of tea in Brooklyn, then back here matinee Sunday against the Blazers, and then a home game against Miami. How well do you know basketball rules? I know Mojo knows them well, having been a coach in his former life. Well, we hit the streets of Charlotte this afternoon, and some of the answers we got, a little bit of head scratcher. Check this out. We hit the streets of Charlotte to test the fans' basketball IQ. What we found, a little bit of a head scratcher. Do you know what the hand signal for traveling violation is?
Not in the NBA. I don't think they have one.
Whatever James Harden is doing.
I believe it's this. Oh, it's this. I forgot.
Technical foul.
The other night, you talking about Boogie? That wasn't a tech.
How about a technical foul?
I don't know that one either.
How about a jump ball?
Don't know that one.
Oh, this.
Nice.
I run a clock. You know more than I do. I don't really keep up with that. So, yeah.
I know, not really.
Okay, how about traveling?
Traveling.
Yeah.
You got me.
How about technical foul?
I'm not sure. I'm on the spot. I can't even think.
Perfect. This man is a basketball genius, folks. Yeah, you got that? Okay, a timeout. What is a timeout? And what is a jump ball? How about over and back violation?
Over and back.
Oh, see, you're 2 for 3, man. Don't doubt yourself. You got this. Last question, over and back. Backcourt violation? You get another high five for that. What is jump ball? Oh, almost.
I believe it's
My man is 3 for 3. Yeah, killing it. See, sometimes fans know more than they think they know. It's a little bit refreshing, isn't it? All right, so very interesting. Some people know traveling violations, some don't. James Harden definitely doesn't. What did you learn real quick in 30 seconds from this loss?
Hornets need a lot of work off the bench to continue to try to compete the remainder of the year. They've got a formidable schedule. They're just going to have to take it one game at a time and hope for the best.
All right, for Jim Mojo Morrison, I'm Ryan Hedrick. We'll see you back here on Sunday for a matinee with the Blazers. Hornets coverage continues 24/7 at ADSN1.com.